Hi guys, welcome back to my channel ArtsyPutsy with me Putsy, and it's the second day of the Finding Foundation series or the foundation review week here on my channel, and it's going to be a review of this foundation right here. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter Waterproof Longwear Liquid Foundation, and if you want to see my first impression, the review and the wear test of this foundation, then just keep on watching. So this is the second video of this foundation week. I'm going to call this Finding Foundation because I don't know, I think it sounds kind of good maybe, but well, it's not really a week because I'm only going to post 5 videos this week. I'm going to review 5 different foundation, and the first foundation I review, which is yesterday, is the Covergirl Trublend Matte Foundation. If you want to see that, I'm going to link that video up here and also down below. Also, if you want to see what other foundation I'm going to review this week, just check the description box down below. I'm going to list the schedule right down below. So yeah, today is this foundation. I know this is not a new foundation whatsoever, it's been out forever, but I haven't tried this, and this is actually the first high-end foundation I ever bought. I actually bought this before the Cosmetic CC cream, but I haven't got around to try this foundation yet because I want to feel my first impression with this foundation here with you guys. I always wanted to buy this since the first time it was launched, mainly because of the packaging. I don't know why the foundation is so cool in my opinion, but I am also intrigued because of the foundation itself, because it's supposed to be a full coverage and matte finish and oil free, and I need all those things because I myself have a very oily skin and I have a lot of acne scars. As you can see, I don't really have a lot of acne anymore, but I still have a lot of deep-pitted acne scars, so it's a little bit hard to find foundation that will sit nicely on top of my skin and all the scars I have. But before we jump into the application, let's see what the foundation is all about. I'm going to read the claims and everything here from the internet, from Sephora. This foundation retails for $40. I hope they will expand their shade range in the future, but as of now they only have 24 shades. But 24 is not that great, but at the same time not that bad, because some foundation only have like 5 to 10 different shades. So yeah, I hope they can expand the range, but it's still it's okay. It is a full coverage waterproof foundation that lasts all night, comfortable enough to wear every day, and is completely matte, never flat. The coverage is full, the finish is actually natural here on the website. I thought this is matte. It will give you a flawless looking complexion loaded with an insane amount of pigment. Waterproof formula diffuses light to blur flaws for beautifully perfected skin as it mattifies and absorbs oil to reduce the appearance of shine. And I'm in the shade 5.0. I don't know if it's going to match me, but it's actually pretty yellow. I actually color matched this myself in Sephora store, but you know, the light is kind of off, so I don't know if it's going to actually match me. And you are supposed to shake this before use. And of course, first time I opened this actually, and this has a bump, and right off the bat 10 for the packaging because I freaking love this packaging. So just like my other foundation review, I'm just going to apply this half of my face with a damp beauty blender, which is actually weird. I need to clean this. I only used this yesterday once, so sorry for that. But the other half of my face, I'm going to apply the foundation with this e.l.f. Precision blending brush. Ultimate blending brush. Yeah. It's still pretty. Okay, it took a long time. I'm just going to wait here. So that's 1.25 pump. So that's 1¼ pump of foundation applied with the beauty blender and the brush. The coverage itself, I think it has pretty good coverage. It covers up a whole lot. A few of my dark pigmentation still peeking through, but to be honest, with other foundation it shows up a lot more. So I feel like for the coverage it's amazing. It is one of the fullest coverage I have ever tried so far. You can get away without applying powder on top of it because it's not tacky whatsoever. I feel like you don't really have to set it, but I always set my foundation, so I will later on set my foundation with powder, but I feel like you don't really need to, especially if you don't have very oily skin. For the finish of it, it's matte, but it's not drying whatsoever, at least on my skin. Even though I have oily skin, I have quite a lot of dry patches around my nose and around here, and I feel like it sits nicely around my nose. It's actually look really nice, and it kind of blurred my pores a little bit, especially around my forehead. You cannot really see, like, it looks freaking flawless in my opinion. I'm quite surprised, especially around the outer perimeter of my face. I feel like it looks amazing. And obviously the main difference between the sponge and the brush is the coverage. With the brush it gives you a little bit more coverage, but nothing too crazy. I feel like both sides looks pretty similar, but if you look very closely, because I have a lot of acne scars around here and here, like around the center of my cheek, I feel like these give me a better finish. The foundation sits not more like better around here. Around here it looks a little bit, yeah, it doesn't look bad whatsoever, but it just looks better with the sponge. So I will definitely prefer applying this foundation with the sponge. The shade matches me pretty well. I mean, my skin is pretty yellow, but if I look really closely, I think it's actually a tiny bit darker. It worries me a bit because I know this sets down a little bit darker, so hopefully it doesn't get too crazy at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm quite surprised. I mean, I have high hopes for this foundation, but it actually looks really nice. I don't think I will ever apply a second layer with this, but I already applied quite a lot. I applied 1¼ or 1½ pump. I feel like with only just 1 pump it will already look great and have a good coverage anyway, but I think you can still build the coverage up, because as of now this foundation feels really nice on top of my skin. It doesn't feel heavy whatsoever. It's not completely like, oh, I don't think I have foundation on. It's nothing like that, because I can still tell that my skin has foundation on top of it, but it's not heavy whatsoever, and this foundation doesn't feel or look cakey in any way. And now it's currently 11:56 AM. And for now, I'm just going to finish up the rest of my makeup first, and I'm going to be back to chat with you a little bit more. I already finished up the rest of my makeup, and it's currently I'm so sorry, I got carried away for a few hours actually, because I was very hungry, so I go downstairs to have lunch first. And now it's currently yeah, it's been 2 hours, but no matter, because I continuously checked myself in the mirror to see how the foundation looks like. And by the way, before we continue, if you want to see the tutorial for this look right here, I believe I already have this tutorial up on my channel. It's the review of the ColourPop Good Sport eyeshadow palette, so in case you want to see that, I'm going to link the video up here and also down below. And now back to the foundation itself. I was right, because the foundation does get a little bit darker, like it sets down a bit darker. It's in the viewfinder, it matches me pretty well, like it's a perfect match, but in real life my face is a tiny bit darker than my neck, so I feel like I can get away with 4.0, or maybe I should just mix 4.0 and 5 to get my perfect shade. Let's see if it oxidizes. I hope it's not, but So far it doesn't get darker than this. It's been like this for 2 hours now, so I have high hopes for this. I really like the finish of it. As you can see, it's the oiliness of my face started to peek through, but for 2 hours it honestly not that bad, not a lot of difference, just a little bit oil peeking through here and there, and it actually makes the foundation looks a lot better in my opinion. The finish of the foundation is getting more natural and natural. I mean, you can see I have foundation on, but it's not like a mask and it's not cakey whatsoever. It does looks like a completely natural matte. It doesn't look completely dry. It doesn't look cakey. If you don't have a lot of acne scars like me, it will make your face completely flawless and smooth and poreless. Compared to other foundation that I've tried so far, this is honestly one of the best that makes like it sits nicely on top of my acne scar, and that rarely happens with foundation. It doesn't emphasize the textures and the scars on my face, so if textures and large pores are one of your concerns when you buy foundation, then I think you will like this foundation. And to be honest with you guys, I was kind of blown away with this foundation. I have high hopes for this, but I don't expect this foundation to look like this, because some people either love this foundation or some people hate this foundation. But for me, so far, I freaking love this. I hope it wears out nicely at the end of the day. We'll see, but so far so good. Oh yeah, one more thing, the flashbacks. I do think this has a little bit of flashbacks though, so it's not it's not the best foundation for flash photography. That's honestly not my biggest concern, because I rarely take flash photography, but if that's your concern, it does have a little bit of flashbacks, but it's not that bad. So that's it for now. I'm going to be back in a couple of hours to give you my final thought. Hi guys, I'm back and it's currently 1956, so well 1957, so it's exactly 8 hours since the first time I finished up the application of my foundation. As you can see, my face looks very oily, and it happens with almost every single foundation I've tried. But I have to say, this is not the worst. At 6 hours, my face already starts to look very oily, but it's not the worst oily looking foundation. It's just because my face is very oily. It happens with every single foundation. At the end of the day, I look like this. I look like a grease ball. Sometimes I look even worse. And for 8 hours, this honestly not that bad in my opinion, especially for my skin. And the foundation is pretty much still intact. I mean, the bronzer, the blush and the highlights, all they start to disappear, but it's pretty much still there. I mean, you can still see a little bit of them around the outside perimeter of my face. My face still looks pretty much the same, because I don't really get very oily around here. The area of my skin that looks very oily is around here and around my nose, like around my T-zone area and a little bit of here. Actually, my forehead doesn't look that bad. It's just around my cheeks and my nose is very oily, but it already started to disappear around here, only like very close to my nose area, and the foundation rub off like pretty much gone around here, because as you can see, I don't have my contact lens on and I have to use my glasses to see. So I put on my glasses about 2 hours ago, which is why this foundation around here is already pretty much completely gone. About the center of my nose, the foundation is still there. Around here, there's still some foundation left. The only part I don't see any foundation is around here. And also a little bit of my chin already rubbed off, because that's also kind of my mistake, because I have some lipstick here. It always happen. I don't know why, it's just the way my lip shape and the way I eat maybe, and I tried to clean my lipstick, so it already rubbed off a little bit. But other than that, the foundation is pretty much still there. even around here. I feel like if I blot a little bit, touch up a little bit throughout the day, it will look a little bit like a lot better than this. I forgot to tell you, for foundation review, I rarely apply primer and setting sprays, so this is how the foundation works purely like on its own. It doesn't oxidize because it only sets down a little bit darker at first, but throughout the day I didn't see any difference from the 2-hour marks to this. It's pretty much still looking pretty much the same in terms of the color. It obviously started to look a little bit cakey and a lot more heavy, but it doesn't feel that heavy on the face. I feel like I can still use this foundation for a few more hours. For how full the coverage is and for how mattifying it is, it actually feels pretty lightweight. Overall, I honestly feel happy with the purchase. I'm so happy with this foundation. I have to work with this a little bit more to see if I can improve how, you know, the oil controlling side of this. But even like this, I still have no big complaint about this. It looks great on my dry patches, it looks great on the rest of my face. It sits nicely on top of my scar. It doesn't emphasize the scars and the textures in a weird way, and the coverage is really good. I will give this foundation an A, even an A+. I feel like this is one of the best foundation I've ever tried, and this makes me want to try some more high-end foundation. So for this foundation, I am completely satisfied, and I don't think it was a waste of money to buy this high-end foundation. But yeah, definitely let me know if you ever try this foundation, how the foundation works for you, and if you use any primer with this to make the oil controlling side of this foundation works, you know, a little bit better. Definitely let me know, and also don't forget to come back tomorrow to see my other foundation review. Like I said in the intro, if you want to know what other foundation I'm going to review this week, the schedule will be listed down below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you like this. If you do like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out on any other foundation review from me. The subscribe button is right down below. And lastly, again, thank you so much, and I hope I can see you in my next video. Bye guys. Today with this foundation, it's okay, that's 1 1/4 half. I think it's like a medium. The dry patches around my nails, my nails. It's a review of the ColourPop Goods exactly 8 o'clock. Wait,